I replaced $340 monthly in feed costs with a kiddie pool and a bucket. Took me 4 months to dial it in. Now I'm producing more protein per square foot than soybeans, and my egg yolks went from pale yellow to deep orange in 2 weeks. Everyone thinks Azolla is the answer. It's not. I've tested all 5 floating forages side by side with the same flock, same water source, same conditions. 3 of them outperformed Azolla. One of them tripled my production per square foot. Another one my pigs refused to touch, even when I mixed it with grain. Before we start, floating forages are supplements, not complete feeds. We're still feeding grain or a complete ration. These replace 20 to 40% of your feed bill, not 100%. I've seen people try to feed only duckweed and only Azolla, and their animals lost weight or stopped laying. Don't do that. Use these as protein-rich supplements to your existing feeding program. I'm breaking down all 5: growth rates, protein content, which animals actually eat them, and exact container sizes you need. At the end, I'll tell you which one my pigs rejected and why, and which single forage replaced the most feed, dollar for dollar, in my operation. Everyone growing Azolla makes the same mistake. They start a culture, watch it spread, harvest some, feed it to their chickens, and assume they're winning. Then they measure actual composition and realize their chickens are ignoring 60% of what they're offering. I did this. Started Azolla in April. Had 60 pounds per week 3. Fed it to my chickens. They pecked at it, kicked most of it around, and left it to rot. I was producing feed nobody wanted to eat. Azolla runs 25 to 35% protein when you dry it out and rest it. Fresh Azolla is mostly water. It grows fast in warm weather. Doubles in size every few days when temps are between 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. A 4x8 kiddie pool produces 2-3 pounds fresh daily when it's really cranking. That's 10 to 15 pounds weekly. The problem is palatability. Ducks love Azolla. They'll wade in it and clear the surface. Chickens barely tolerate it unless you mix it into their regular feed at maybe a quarter to a third of the total. Pigs will eat it up to about a third of their diet, but if you push higher than that, they stop eating as much overall because of all the fiber. Cattle and goats can use Azolla mixed with poor quality hay. Research showed it working as a protein boost without hurting weight gain. But feeding it to cattle means you need massive amounts of production, which we'll get to later, and you'll see why it doesn't work. Here's what Azolla does better than everything else. It fixes nitrogen. There's bacteria living in the leaves that pull nitrogen from the air. That means Azolla grows in clean water where duckweed struggles. You can start with plain trap water and Azolla will take off without needing fertilizer. I keep 1 kiddie pool of Azolla running because it's insurance. If my duckweed crashes from nutrient problems or algae takeover, Azolla keeps producing, but it's not my main production forage anymore. Something else beat it by 50% on protein content alone. Month 2 of testing, I added duckweed to a second kiddie pool. Same size, same water depth, same sunlight. Within 3 weeks, the duckweed pool was outproducing Azolla by 40% on volume and 50% on protein. Duckweed tests higher protein than Azolla when you dry it out and run the numbers. 35 to 40% protein. That's higher than soybean meal. It grows faster too, doubling every 2 to 3 days when conditions are good. A 4x8 kiddie pool cranks out 3 to 5 pounds fresh daily. When it's really moving, 15 to 25 pounds weekly. Same container as Azolla, better output. The harvest is tedious. Duckweed is tiny. Individual pieces are maybe the size of a match head. You need fine mesh nets or kitchen strainers. Takes me 15 to 20 minutes to harvest what takes 10 minutes with Azolla, but the protein density makes up for it. Chickens eat duckweed readily. I mix it into their feed or scatter it fresh, and they clear it within an hour. Research on boilers showed duckweed working at up to 15% of the diet without hurting growth rates. Laying hens on duckweed showed better yolk color. That's where my egg yolks went from pale yellow to deep orange. Ducks prefer duckweed to Azolla. They'll filter it from water for hours. Pigs use it as a protein boost at 20 to 25% of their diet. It digests pretty well for a forage, around 70%. For cattle and goats, duckweed works as a protein supplement to low-quality roughage. The tiny size makes it hard to feed compared to the larger plant, but mixing it into silage or feeding fresh alongside hay improves overall diet quality. Rabbits on dried duckweed at 15 to 20% of diet grew just as well as rabbits on alfalfa diets. Sheep handle it similarly to cattle. One 4x8 kiddie pool of duckweed can supplement 10 to 15 chickens at about a third of their diet. For 50 chickens, you need 3 to 5 pools. For 20 ducks, you need 2 to 4 pools. Duckweed also cleans water. I route my duck pond overflow into the duckweed pool, and cleaner water flows out into garden beds. Nutrient cycling and feed production in one system. This became my main production forage, but there's a bigger version that makes harvest easier. Spirodela is a giant duckweed. The pieces are maybe 3 to 5 times bigger than any regular duckweed. Still small, but easier to see and scoop. Same protein content, around 30 to 35% when dried. Grows about as fast, but harvest time drops by half because you can use nets with bigger holes. For small operations harvesting daily, Spirodela saves 10 to 15 minutes per harvest compared to regular duckweed. Over a month, that's 5 to 6 hours saved. Animals respond to Spirodela the same as duckweed. Chickens eat it readily, ducks preferred, pigs, cattle, goats, sheep, and rabbits all accept it when offered. The challenge is finding starter culture. Spirodela is less common than duckweed, but if you start a duckweed culture, Spirodela often shows up on its own and takes over sections of the pool. I let both grow together and harvest whichever is most abundant. Production per square foot matches duckweed. A 4x8 pool produces 3 to 4 pounds fresh daily. If you're choosing between duckweed and Spirodela, go with whichever you can source easily. Performance is nearly identical. Spirodela just makes harvest less tedious. Now, here's where things get interesting. Everything so far has been fully floating. The next two grow differently, and one of them, my pigs, completely rejected. Water spinach isn't fully floating. It's semi-aquatic, grows in shallow water or wet soil, and produces more total volume than anything else on this list. Protein content is lower at 20 to 30% when dried. The leaves have more protein than stems, but the sheer volume of growth makes up for a lower percentage. Water spinach can bump out 40 to 50 tons per acre annually in warm climates. I grow mine in shallow concrete mixing pans with 4 inches of water and soil mix on the bottom. Plant it cutting, wait 2 to 3 weeks, harvest stems a few inches above the base. It regrows fast. Multiple harvests monthly during warm weather. Pigs love water spinach. It is primarily pig feed across Southeast Asia. My pigs ate it enthusiastically at 30 to 40% of their fresh feed weight. This is where I saw the biggest feed cost drop because volume production is so high. Cattle and goats eat it readily when fresh. Water buffalo in Asia graze water spinach in rice paddies. Ducks and geese consume it enthusiastically. Chickens need it chopped fine. A 4x8 bed with 20 plants produces 10 to 15 pounds of harvestable stems weekly during peak seasons. That's enough to supplement 2 to 3 pigs significantly or provide major forage for 1 pig. Water spinach is also human food. You can sell surplus at farmers markets or to Asian restaurants. Some areas, it commands premium prices. Dual purpose, animal feed and cash crop. Legal warning, water spinach is restricted in some states as invasive. Florida, Texas, and others regulate it. Check local laws before planting. Where it's legal, it's one of the highest producing forages you can grow. The downsides: needs warm weather, can escape and become invasive, requires more hands-on management than free-floating species. But it solved my pig feed problem. Now, for the one my pigs wouldn't touch. Watercress runs 25 to 30% protein when dried with exceptionally high calcium and vitamins. It's premium feed. My chickens loved it. My pigs wouldn't eat it. I tried mixing it into their grain at 10%. They sorted around it. I tried wilting it. They ignored it. I tried chopping it fine and mixing it 5%. They still refused. The peppery flavor that chickens find appealing, pigs find disgusting. For chickens, watercress is one of the most palatable greens you can grow. Ducks consume it readily. Goats eat it enthusiastically. Cattle and sheep accept it. Rabbits consume it readily. Just not pigs. Growth is slower than duckweed or Azolla. Watercress prefers cooler water. Somewhere between 55 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit works best. It grows year-round in temperate climates, while other aquatic forages die back in winter. I grow mine in a shallow stream bed, with recycled pump water flowing through. Plants root in gravel, stems float on surface. Harvest by cutting stems. Leave a couple of inches. It regrows. A 4x4 bed produces 1 to 2 pounds fresh weekly during cool seasons. Production drops when it bolts in summer heat. The advantage is dual use. Watercress sells for human consumption at $15 to $25 per pound retail, $8 to $15 wholesale. What doesn't sell goes to chickens. That makes it potentially the most profitable aquatic forage on this list, even with slower growth. Downsides: slower growth, prefers cooler water, so summer production drops, needs flowing or well-aerated water, and pigs won't eat it. Chickens: duckweed and watercress most palatable. Spirodela readily accepted. Azolla works mixed in. Water spinach needs chopping. Ducks: duckweed and Azolla preferred. Spirodela and watercress readily consumed. Water spinach eaten but less preferred. Geese: water spinach, Spirodela, and watercress top choices. Azolla and duckweed eaten, but geese prefer larger forage. Pigs: water spinach is best option. Duckweed works as protein supplement. Azolla acceptable. Watercress rejected. Cattle: Azolla and duckweed as protein supplements to poor roughage. Water spinach consumed readily fresh, only practical with existing pond infrastructure. Goats: watercress and water spinach most palatable. Duckweed and Azolla work as supplements. Goats prefer browse, so aquatic supplement rather than replace. Sheep: accept Azolla, duckweed, and watercress fresh. Water spinach consumed readily. Rabbits: duckweed, Azolla, and watercress all readily consumed. Water spinach accepted. A 4x8 kiddie pool costs $25 to $35 and gives you 32 square feet of water surface. For 10 to 20 chickens, one pool with duckweed supplements 30 to 40% of diet. Cost $30. For 50 chickens, 3 to 5 pools. Cost $75 to $175. For 5 to 10 pigs with water spinach, 2 4x8 shallow beds. Cost $50 to $100 for mixing pans as grow beds. For cattle, container systems don't work. You'd need 30 to 50 kiddie pools per 2 cows. That's absurd. Only practical with existing pond infrastructure. Quarter acre minimum. 100-gallon stock tanks work for a limited space. One tank produces 1 to 1.5 pounds duckweed daily, enough for 3 to 5 chickens. Cost $30 to $50. Start small, one pool. Get production dialed in. Scale based on actual results. The one that tripled my production per square foot compared to Azolla? Duckweed. Same container, 50% higher output, 50% higher protein content. The one that replaced the most feed dollar for dollar? Duckweed again. At $340 monthly feed cost reduction, it paid for itself in days. The one my pigs rejected? Watercress. Too peppery. The one that produced the most total biomass? Water spinach. Lower protein percentage, but massive volume. Start with duckweed for chickens and ducks. Add Azolla for nitrogen cycling if your water is low nutrient. Grow water spinach if you have pigs. Skip watercress for pigs, but grow it for chickens or human sale. What have you tried? Did it work, or did your animals reject it? Have you had a forage completely fail, or one that surprised you with how well your flock ate it? Drop a comment below. We'll see you in the next video.